Good day, everyone. Before we get started, please remember to save your questions until the end of the session and use the chat window box on your screen to ask your questions. Also, if you would like to receive a recording of today's webinar, please contact the WSI consultant who invited you to the session. With that being said, thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is R.T. Sharma from WSI Corporate Office in Toronto, and I'm joined today by Doug Shasta, our conversion marketing strategist and expert at WSI. Doug is also a long-standing WSI franchisee, almost 12 years now, Doug, hey? And
that's correct, Artie.
Great. And you focus on providing complete internet marketing strategies to businesses, which include elements of display advertising, banner advertising, social media campaigns, landing page optimization, I would say, email marketing and consulting as well. Doug is also an international speaker and only in this year he spoke at various shows and events held by third-party associations and companies throughout North America and the UK. Today, Doug will be giving a presentation on how to succeed by converting more traffic online. And as many of you would agree, that marketing is all about testing, and with internet changing so fast, people need to change their marketing mix and overall marketing strategies at a faster pace. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome Doug. Doug, please take it away.
Thank you very much, Artie, and thank you for everyone for attending. I know everyone has busy, hectic days, so I know to take this time is hopefully you'll get a few golden nuggets out of it. And certainly, I think there are some good takeaways that anyone at any level can certainly start to use some of these ideas going forward into their online marketing. So basically what we're going to cover today is basically how to improve your online performance at the same time while reducing your budget. And so the key factor is here getting more for your money. And I think, we'll just kind of walk through what that looks like and take it from there. Oops, sorry, there we go. So one of the key factors is you really need to define conversion. And I think, one of the concept is when you talk to many different companies is what is conversion. And basically a conversion is getting someone to take a predetermined action that you want to track and measure that particular impact and that action on your business. So that to me is really the most important thing, because sometimes you're tracking different elements for different reasons, and you need to know what you're tracking and the impact of that tracking. So just some internet facts, and I had a great pleasure of touring with Google for an 8-city tour to talk about conversion, and in that time that I was traveling with them and talking with them, one of the key factors that came up was, this is their statistics, 82% of all search traffic will never end up on your homepage. When I heard that last year, or I guess it was the tail end of the first part of this year, I was shocked. So they're tracking basically where everyone's going, what they're doing, and how that works. So that's an interesting way to kind of look at this. Average time someone spends on a home page is roughly 25 seconds. So you have 25 seconds to engage someone at that level. And then the average time someone spends on a landing page is roughly half that at 13.2 seconds. So what you really need to look at is am I getting my message across? What's the impact of that message? And I engage them within 13.2 seconds. One of the interesting notes here is that everyone realizes that Google is the #1 search engine in the world. Certainly more in the UK than anywhere else, or certainly in the UK and other places, at 70, 80, 90%. But what most people don't know right now is that YouTube has moved into #2 position ahead of Yahoo. And that's starting to have an impact on what's being shown and what's being displayed in your search engines and or Google in particular, what's being brought up. So just kind of the social media side of the SunSuite campaign. So we had a $300 budget, roughly. And over that $300, we were able to get 800 million impressions. So basically, 8 million people were able to see one of these 3 ads that we were running at different times. Approximately, we got approximately 3,000 visitors back to the SunSuite microsite. So we did what we wanted to do. We used a very low, inexpensive way of testing some ideas, what's going to drive people to do things, what's the impact of that test, and what's the impact of us on our brand, what's the impact of that results on our site, which means that eventually we'll have the impact on sales and everything else. And these campaigns are still running, by the way. So in saying that, we just kind of broke it down. We actually ran 4 ads, which I couldn't get the other one in. So basically, you can kind of see, 121 people took action and filled out what we wanted to, 235 and 38. And you'll see these different ads ran in different areas, and we're targeting different people, and we had changed them up. And again, the impact is what we wanted to test. Are we getting our message right? Are we talking to the right demographic body, et cetera, et cetera? So what you start to measure is, what's the impact of everything we're doing and the impact of that on my business? So again, it comes back to a lot of those different things you want to track and measure. So just to kind of, basically we ended up with 160 total fans in this, on the one campaign. We had higher percent male than female. So you can see 73% males, over 26% female, different age groups. So are we getting our right message to the right people based on the results? Now, if you go back and you can look at some of the calls to action, you'll see we did really well with one and not so well with the other. So again, we start to make those changes. Looking at where activity is coming from now, it's gotten a little bit more complicated for a lot of people. And you need to understand, obviously Google, Yahoo, and some degree MSN, and now Bing, which is now a kind of a new version of the MSN search engine, is that where are some of the other traffic areas you can get from? You see YouTube there, you'll see Facebook there, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Even LinkedIn has a huge following, Twitter. So what you can do now is you need to look at just not your major search engines, but where other in the social media realm of the internet, what can I leverage to bring in traffic, qualified traffic, that will convert and be part of my business structure. So those are some of the things that we'll continue to talk about. In saying that, is much greater in my opinion. I think, one of the things we had here, we had great images, we had some nice things. So if you look at what's happening here, so if you look at the impact points, let me just kind of point that number 1 is obviously a hot spot, which is the main product that sells. Number 2 is very interesting because it's exactly one of our conversion points, or one of our targeted conversion points that we want people to do. Obviously number 3, VAC, and number 4 is VAC underneath here, 5, and so on. So you can kind of see where we were hitting. Again, remembering that the average person is on there no more than 13 seconds. So what's the impact? What do I need to change? How do I test that? And what can I modify? So doing that, here's kind of what happened here. It's in social media, and as I said earlier, the second largest search engine now in the world, next to Google, is YouTube. Now, Google just happens to own YouTube, so the advantage that you may have is, how do I leverage the relationship between Google and YouTube? How do I leverage the fact that people like to watch information, or now they don't have time to read, they either need to be told or be informed in faster, quicker ways? Well, you might want to create a YouTube channel. So we created SunSuite their own YouTube channel, custom branded it, made it look the way they want to look, it's all branded, so it continues to carry their image forward. You can see here, basically, it's a screenshot of what we have. Social media. I always say, social media is always the question, but not always the answer, because it's not for everybody. But there is one cross benefit that you can take a look at, in that is that social media allows, if you use it correctly, it can really affect your organic ranking. So not only can you get a strong organic ranking, you can dominate organic ranking now, as well as your typical paid advertising. So in this case, you can see here, on the first page of Google, we were able to get 2 search terms that we were testing on the first page of Google using the video. So again, what the impact of that is,